Family Advocacy Center. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silent reflection for those respecting the church?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Belle Gilman, present. Bruce Morgan,
Present.
Carmen Jack,
Here.
Avery Robinson,
Present.
Kathy King here, Pat Hovis,
Excused.
Terry Trolley.
Here.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Connie Rowan Family Advocacy Center for allowing us to move our meeting here. We tried last summer, but we didn't get to get it together, but it's nice to be able to move it to different areas so people can attend. So we appreciate you allowing us to have it here. And would you like to stand and say anything about?
Well, I'd just like to say thank you and welcome, and the reason that you couldn't come last summer is because your meetings are on Tuesday nights. And last year we did distribution of summer lunch here on Tuesday, which is, if you haven't been here on a night when there's distribution, there are cars lined up for a very long ways to get food. So we're on track to do about 300,000 meals over the summer this summer to kids all across the county and some even outside the reaches of Ottawa County. Excited to do that. We do all kinds of services here, serving families in the immediate neighborhood. We serve some fire families back here. We have a lot of homeless people that come in here that we try to help get on their feet. Serving grandparents, raising grandchildren. So we just have lots of stuff going on here. Our mission is to help stabilize families, whatever that may look like. So thank you. We're glad you're here. If there's anything I can do, let me know.
Okay. Thank you very much. Council, you previously received the May 26, 2026 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Madam President, motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Trolley. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mrs. Gilman. I have a motion by Mr. Trolley, second by Mrs. Gilman, to approve the May 2026 regular meeting minutes. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Thank you. Motion carries. The chair notes the certification has been made regarding the rules and notifications of this meeting. We have two guest presenters this evening. We have Doug Nusser, who's the City of Fort Clinton Project Coordinator, and Brent Norley, Kleinfelder Engineering.
Thank you, Madam President. I did provide council just now with an updated listing of all the projects that we have currently in design, construction, and then planned projects coming up. It's for the projects in design, it's pretty similar, no huge changes from what I presented to you a few meetings ago. Most of the additions were on the planning end for the city. If you got a chance to look at that in the next few days, have any questions, certainly give me a call. We did invite Bennett Norley from Kleinfelder to maybe give an expanded update on the water sewer project as we currently try to get to advertise for that project.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Hi everyone, my name is Bennett. I'm with Kleinfelder Engineering. I run our infrastructure program, so the water, wastewater, transportation, survey, and funding. I'm here to talk about the water and sewer project and hopefully give an update and answer questions if you have any questions, comments, and concerns that I know we all have. So as of today, we are in the final stretches of advertising and getting out for shovels in the ground. Essentially how the procurement process works is we start a design, we finish the design, put together an opinion of probable cost, we get that out onto the street for public bidding, we award a contractor, and then we put shovels in the ground. So as of today, we are done with design. To be frank, we've been done with design for about 18 months, and we're waiting on final permits and final agency approvals. This project is predominantly funded through funding agencies that are funded by the federal government and state governments. A lot of hoops that you have to jump through in order to use those funds. And we're working with the United States Department of Agriculture right now. We're working with Norfolk and Southern Railroad to get the permits to go under Jefferson and Harrison Street. As of 2 weeks ago, we finally procured those permits after 2 years and 3 months going back and forth. USDA recommended we not go out to bid prior to receiving those railroad permits. They've seen projects that get delayed for 9 to 12 months in construction and cause of liquidated damages, and it's probably the right thing to do. In engineering design, there's a triangle of quality, cost, and time. I'm sure you've all heard of that in some way, shape, or form. Timing of this has been unacceptable. We have dragged this on for a very, very long time at the cost of the project, at the cost of the city of Port Clinton, at the cost of the administration that runs the city. And for that, we're really trying to get this project out. For every year that we delayed, we did procure additional funding to offset those costs. We have about $18 million in grant funding that we procured for this project, which is basically free money minus the hoops we have to jump through for that. We have an additional $10 million in loan, including $3 million in principal forgiveness, which is 0% interest. And so the other two sides of that in terms of quality and cost, this has been the highest quality project. It's one of the reasons that we're as delayed as we are, to make sure that we have change in the administration of the funding agencies, to make sure when we have change in the city, to make sure when we have change in Kleinfelder, that we're always keeping quality first. So once we get some construction troubles in the ground, we're very confident in the product that we have. So I appreciate everyone's patience. I know it's been unacceptable, and I hope that the quality of this project and the additional funding that we've been able to procure will help offset that. So I am here as long as you guys want to answer questions. And I've got a couple.
Did you say we have the railroad permits?
Yes.
Okay, that's great news.
Yeah.
So then, like, do we know when we can go out to bid?
Yeah, so the things that are preventing us from bid are, now that we have permits, we need approval from all of our funding agencies. So this project has 7 different funding agencies that are associated. The big ones are the United States Department of Agriculture, the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency, the United States Environmental Protection Agency, the United States Army Corps of Engineering, and Ohio Public Works Commission, and I know I'm forgetting a couple.
That's 5.
Yes.
You have to seek approval from the, can you explain what you mean? I thought they were all along and moved
Yes.
this project.
So for the funding agencies, so the funding agencies, there's really 3 steps to procuring funding. There's sourcing the funding, there's applying for the funding, and then there's executing the funding. So we have all of our applications complete. We have the funding earmarked. All of that money is essentially reserved for Port Clinton. Prior to going out to bid, the funding agencies need to confirm that the work product that they're paying for aligns with their standards.
Okay.
And that
Now I
is,
understand.
yeah, that's a huge list of making sure that we have Davis-Bacon wages, that the contractors are being paid fairly, that makes sure that all of our environmental permitting is up to state. So those reviews can take 30 to 60 days. I will tell you that we had our first plan set review a year ago, the United States Army Corps of Engineers. We still don't have full permission to go out to bid. Just unprecedented delays with administration turnover at the federal level, at the local level, at the state level. Of these 7 funding agencies, we're typically working with 2 to 3 people per funding agency. That's 14 to 21 people. I looked today. We have been in contact with 41 different people from the funding agencies. That's the kind of turnover we're seeing since the beginning of this. So the big one left is the United States Department of Agriculture. That is the one that we're really waiting on. That's where it comes from. And they have had our plans since September of last year. Every couple months they give us some comments. We get them back as expeditiously as possible. Right now we are looking at the contract that we renegotiated in 2020, that we renegotiated in 2014, that we renegotiated in 1996. Every 5 years they come up with a new contract term, so we just have to jump through those hoops. No additional cost to the city. We're in those stages right now, and then they're going to do the plan review to make sure that all of our environmental and permitting agencies are done. And then essentially we get their blessing, and we go out to bid.
I got a big question.
Yes.
And I really, at this point, I don't care if I ruffle feathers, checking the law. Is there any way that your engineering firm can put this out there for the citizens that have been asking and begging us, and not harassing, very concerned about why we're not moving on. Can your engineering firm do something like that? You know, the people that are here, mail it, I don't care how it gets out there. And like I said, I don't care who I make in. I've been asking for 4 years for information to get out there. And it's not happening. Hasn't happened. Yeah, it's on Facebook, but and I'm going to use the example again. My 80-year-old father-in-law didn't have Facebook. I mean, face it, you know, a lot of people don't have the internet. It's just, you know, I'm going to make it a request. I'm going to make it a question.
Yeah, I'm sure I speak on behalf of the city when I say we can put together similar to what we did to the Ottawa County secondary feed line when we sent out the 1 year ago today when we sent out the mailers to everyone.
What you just told us is perfect, just absolutely perfect to what citizens know.
Yeah, I recognize that it's still very disappointing, but yeah, absolutely, we can.
I'm going to speak out of turn here, but I agree with you, sir. Because most of the information is found on Facebook, and then people get in there name calling, and I'm one of them, right? I don't name call unless somebody is down on me. What the city, you guys need to do is put it in an envelope and mail it to the residents. You guys charge $20 for infrastructure fees, so I'm sure you can pay for a postage stamp. He's right. We need to know on every matter. We shouldn't find this stuff out through Facebook. And you're on it, Beth, and Richard Morgan, you're my board dude, so I've been asking you about a few things. You did answer a couple things, because he said he's not on every committee, and I go, don't tell me.
That's not,
Well, I'm just saying, he answers,
yeah.
but not everybody has Facebook, like Mr. Thorley says. So put it in a mailer, post it somewhere, do something where people can see it. He's correct. I'm 72, creeping in here after a major surgery in December. You smiled at me the last time I was at one and laughed at me,
I
and it
did
was
not.
cut out. Yes, you did, and it was cut out.
No,
I agree
ma'am.
with Mr.
I'm not
Thorley.
saying I don't disagree with him, but what we're here to talk for is about the infrastructure.
Well, yeah, he should put it
project,
out.
so-
I liked what he said,
Yes.
but here, I got a question of follow-up. There's something that you posted, basically about you, Mayor, about $15 million that PC and EPA came to agreement on. So, was that money paid off? I tried 5 times today to call EPA. I'm calling them tomorrow to find out how much of that $15.1 million we still owe on that. Do you have the answer?
That has nothing to do with this infrastructure project.
It's about water.
Back in 1999.
Yeah, I know. I
the
read
city,
it.
well, let me answer.
Yeah, right.
Back in 1999, the city of Port Clinton was charged, for lack of a better term,
Yeah,
with a consent decree
Right.
by the US EPA.
yeah, I read it.
All of that stuff that was charged to the city was completed in 07-08. It took until last week
Right, I
for
read
the US
that.
EPA to sign off that, yep, all that stuff was completed. So
So,
that money was taken care of with renovations to the wastewater treatment plant
Okay,
prior to
so that-
07-08.
that total 15 million
Yes.
went to the water treatment plant down the road
The
here?
wastewater treatment plant, yes.
That's where that 15 million, over how many years?
From 99 to 07-08,
Okay, so do they still need money? The wastewater treatment?
there's
plant?
always improvements needed, but
Yeah,
with
that's
regard to
got
the consent decree,
technical
that's
stuff and all
been,
that, yeah.
that's been clarified nearly 20 years ago.
Okay, so are you guys gonna be asking for more money, taxpayer money for the water treatment here soon? Where's our infrastructure bill money going to now? Is that going to them?
Now, it's two
different
separate
things? Okay.
entities. Two
So is
separate
it
things.
going for pothole fill up?
It's going for everything we're talking about here, the road pavement. Again, let me back up even farther.
Yeah,
The flip, as it's called now,
yeah,
was started off as one giant
yeah,
project.
right.
And as the folks from Kleinfelder, then Pogelmeyer, started to investigate how to pay for this, they discovered 2 things. There's some money out there for below ground stuff, the water lines, the sewer lines. There's not a lot of money out there for the pavement, unless
Yeah,
the pavement is disturbed by the water and sewer line replacement. So we took this big project, broke it down into 2 projects.
Yeah, I heard
Plan A, above ground, and Plan B, below ground.
Right.
The infrastructure fee is going to fund the below ground stuff. The street levy that was voted on by the citizens is going to pave, or going for the above ground, the pavement portion. Now, within that Plan B, the below ground stuff, as more and different funding options made themselves available through research and work from Kleinfelder and Pogemeyer, parts were broken off. One example would be, I think we're at 7 or 8 different smaller projects. Laurel Avenue has its own funding stream as part of the Plan B flip. The intersection of Perry and Madison, down West Perry and Harrison as well, has its own separate funding source. 4th Street, 7th Street, Washington have their own funding source.
So when does it start? When's it start?
Sort of the one under the bid.
It started 2 years ago.
I know that.
Yeah.
My street was finally done back when Mayor Brown was a mayor. We citizens paid to have our roads done. Nobody since then, since just recently, had it fixed by you guys. We had, yeah, but where are you guys now on the flip?
Yep, oh, again, we just
So
talked about
he
this.
just
You guys, if you could, please, let me answer the
Let him
question.
answer.
The pavement portion, again, was also divided into 2 sections. Phase 1, Plan A,
Yeah.
Phase 2, Plan A. Phase 1, Plan A was primarily the western part of the city, because when the below ground stuff starts, that's going to be the core of the city.
Oh, I know.
And the engineers decided, okay, hey, trucks are going to come in through the east, let's not pave those streets because we're going to have heavy trucks coming in with whatever it is they need, pipes and whatnot, to dig up the center. So, Plan A, or excuse, Phase 1 of Plan A has been completed. And if you will, that's 1/3 of the streets in the city. The 1 and 200 blocks of Adams Street, Alice Street east of Jackson, Alma, Ann, Columbia, Cotswold, 8th Street, East 11th, East 10th west of Fulton, 12th Street, Erie Court, Erie Lane, 5th Street east of Fulton Street, Fulton Street south of 10th, Garfield, Harding, Holly Court, Hoover Drive, Huron Court, Illinois Street, Jackson Street between 3rd and 4th, Jackson Drive south of Alice, Jefferson Street south of 7th, Casper Street, Kentucky, Laurel Avenue from Fremont to 3rd, Laurel Avenue south of 6th, Lee Avenue, Linwood, McKinley right up here, Madison south of 6th Street, Maryland, Michigan, Monroe from 3rd to 4th, Monroe Street south of 6th, Ohio, Pearl, Pennsylvania, Polk, 2nd Street from Jackson to Harrison, 2nd Street from Laurel to the north side of Lakeview Cemetery, Superior Court, Superior Circle, Superior Court, 3rd Street west of Madison, Tyler, Virginia, Viola, Wilson, and State Street from Lincoln to Maple Street.
Okay.
Those were all completed as Phase A. And if you picture those as I was reading them off, those are kind of on the outskirts because the construction will come in from the east to do the middle part. That's what he's talking about right now.
Okay.
Once that's complete,
Once that's
all of the streets
approved,
that weren't
it's gotta
mentioned
It's got to
here,
get approved first, right?
correct, once it's approved, all of the streets that weren't mentioned here
Yeah.
are going to be paved.
Now, what you just said, sir, just like I said with Mr. Caroli, I was going to call him doctor, that needs to be put out by you too, because people are confused.
And ma'am, I know you're not a big internet fan, but this has been posted on the internet for 1.5 years on the city's website under the Flip Project.
Well, you know what I don't like about the city? I mean, of course, I know why you're doing it, because you don't want nasty comments.
No.
You guys will put stuff on there, but you can't comment. That's why people go to Port Clinton Uncensored, and that's where people see most of their stuff. That's where I see it. Once in a while, Mr. Morgan will have stuff pop up, and I'll see what he has.
And
And
ma'am,
if I have a question, I direct it to him.
we've been very, very open with this. We've had 12 public meetings over the years.
Well, it's just,
Earlier this week, Mr. Nusser and I spoke at the Senior Center. Earlier today, Mr. Nusser, Mr. Vila, Mr. Sass and I did an interview with the Beacon. I understand
Well,
what you're saying,
yeah.
mailing things out, but that also comes with a cost. And right now, I don't want to spend money going to pave our streets to send a mailer out that's available elsewhere.
Well, let me tell you what, I haven't got the Beacon in over 10 years, right? I don't buy the Port Clinton paper for 4 sheets of paper for what is it now, $50? I'm not paying that much for that.
The
So-
Beacon is free.
I know the Beacon is free.
That's
That's where he was.
But I used to get, it used to be thrown in the yard. So it's not there anymore, not on Madison, so we don't know. A lot of people, like Mr. Trolley said, do not know what's going on. If you're older, and even some of your young kids that don't pay attention, they don't know, and they're payers too. So I agree with the mailers, and I'm sorry you disagree with me, but I think more.
Can I ask you a question
Sure.
here? Do you get a water bill?
Yeah.
What was the last thing at the bottom of the water bill this past month?
All I know is I was told one time, if you got questions, call City Hall. And last time I called City Hall, and the last time I called you, I don't want to say it publicly, it wasn't a very nice phone call.
I don't remember ever speaking to you.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. You hung up on me. Yeah, you did, sir.
And I'm sorry.
On my mom and dad's grave, you hung up on me. It was either about the roads or the Key Bank, buying the Key Bank building. Yeah, you did.
Don't
well, you
remember
did.
that call. Yeah.
Mr. Neufeld, can I just clarify, address two things you brought up? I think you were pointing over at the water plant out here on Fremont Road.
Well, wherever you guys clean the water.
Yeah,
at,
so
that's
the
county.
consent decree only pertains to the sewer plant
Right.
up in North Jackson. We're pointing back here. I can promise you that none of the monthly infrastructure fee, water or sewer portion, is going to regional water. We're just a customer of county water, that plant out there. We're not responsible for the maintenance of anything to that plant.
Okay,
You're pointing
so that's
to.
county? Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
been county for many years.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, is the weather going to affect the timing when you finally get the permits together? Can a lot of that underground stuff be done in the winter? I know the asphalt can't be done, but they could be digging these streets up, replacing the pipes, putting gravel down, and then in the spring get on it.
Correct.
And you say that can be done when and it will start once you get the permits done.
Correct. Our priority and the city's priority is to get out and put shovels in the ground as soon as possible.
Even if it's December.
Even if it's December, there are
Okay,
certain
great.
things from an engineering standpoint that don't make sense with certain temperatures, but there are a lot of things that we can do in construction during winter. The things that will delay us are supply chain. We're dealing with 27,000 linear feet of C909 water line. We can buy small batches, we can buy large batches. It comes down to the contractor and the pricing that they can get. So, all that being said, as soon as we award a contractor, our mission is to get them out as quickly as possible with the highest quality ones.
Okay.
I have a couple things. First of all, you don't have to have the beacon thrown in your yard. Go to thebeacon.net, and I know you're online a lot, so go to thebeacon.net, and you'll see any articles. You'll also see the articles I write. So.
Okay.
Also, and I know you can't answer this, but do the best you can. I know I'm asking you to take a leave, so you could just tell me to go. Do you have an estimated timeline for this? I mean, when we started, I thought it was going to be a year. And, I understand all the things, I understand. You got government agencies, you got the railroad, I understand, I'm not criticizing. These things take time, and it took a lot longer than any of us thought. Any idea, if I said 2030, is it going to be done?
Yes, it will be done by 2030. We have an 18-month construction window for this project. We think conservatively that we will be starting in February or March of next year, if not earlier. It really depends on USDA approval, final permit approvals from the EPA, which are very minor, they're amendments to our existing approval, and supply chain from the contractor.
So, and I won't hold this to you, because I know it's not under your control, but your best guess, or 2 years from now, we're done with this thing.
2 years from today would be June of 2028. If we start in construction winter of 2027, yes, we would be in substantial completion at that point with just punch list items similar to where we are with the phase one.
And if it's not, I won't hold it against you.
That would also only be for the water sewer project. And the phase 2 resurfacing would hopefully start within a month or two of the end of the water sewer
And
project.
that doesn't take as long, right? I mean, it's the underground stuff that takes forever,
It
right?
kind of depends on when we actually are able to get that under contract and out to bid. If we bid it in, let's say, the middle of the summer, by the time we get under contract, there might not be enough time that fall, with the asphalt plants being open.
I'll give you 3 years.
Complete, but
In 3 years,
Yeah.
we do it, right?
we would hope within 3 years, we would have both water sewer and phase 2 resurfacing finished so nearly finished.
Mr. Newser, I don't know if you know offhand or if you know from Kleinfelder, are we going to see any work this summer?
This summer,
Yes.
likely not.
Okay, so no work this summer, probably no work this fall either.
Potentially, but it would be a good bet to say no.
So the next time we'll see work is in February or March
The winter
of,
2027.
2027.
Whether that's November or February.
okay, the reason for this is because we are waiting for the approval from USDA and the other big federal agencies. And since they haven't given us the approval yet to begin, I'm assuming that they haven't given us any money either.
They have earmarked the money.
Right, but they haven't given it
But
to
there
us.
has been no, apart from our fees to design the project, there has not been any fees dispersed for the construction of the water sewer project, unless you consider some of the other grander infrastructure projects that we're about to which we shouldn't. So,
But for the big project that everybody is concerned about and asking about, that money is still in Washington or wherever they are holding their funds. And we will not get anything until,
Some of it is available, a very small portion. U.S. Army Corps is the only entity that's indicated we can start to apply for or request disbursement of already incurred costs. So we're going to submit our engineering fees today to them, hopefully within the next month or two. So that money is available, but they still have not fully authorized us to advertise for bid on construction.
so the money that's available is to pay for stuff we've already paid for. Is that what you're?
In some cases, they will.
And it's a
But in
small
other
amount?
cases, yeah, in other
Okay.
cases, we
Okay.
most of it allocated for construction.
The reason why I'm asking this question is, everybody in the city's, thinking up 20 different ways how the city's stealing the money that they believe we already have. And you're telling us today that the city does not have this money, and we will not get it until there's approval, correct?
correct.
Thank you. That was my question.
So the resurfacing won't start until the entire underground is done, did I hear that right?
That is correct, for main
Okay.
resurfacing, and that would be to not damage any of the.
Yeah, okay, I just didn't know if we were like starting like,
Can I ask a follow-up question, because I think I heard just catching up here, because I'm all, that's why I'm here about roads too. So, nothing's probably gonna start till winter. So, we all know this is our time, right? This is the time when all the traffic's coming in, all the people are coming in, we're a kind of a resort type, right, community work. So, is there anything we can do in the interim? I mean, some of these roads, like the roads I came on, I live right across the drawbridge, the roads I came in on, oh boy. I mean, they're just horrible. So is there any, I see some patching out once in a while, I see people, is there any interim measures that can be taken? Or is it just not worth it, or it just isn't?
I think the simple answer, and correct me if I'm wrong, John, it doesn't make good fiscal sense to do that knowing they're gonna be torn up. And you are correct,
I come by that little
the art garage,
right there.
when
Man,
these
I came up
guys,
that way.
when these guys studied all the roads, that area right in front of the art garage was voted the worst in town.
You know that little road, my car's just close to the ground, it's hard to get by the armory there, by the old armory, so. Yeah,
The city street department is doing the best they can to patch and try and keep the potholes to a minimum. But with this many streets that are in need of repair, that's something we would keep up with.
so I want to make sure I heard correctly. Again, any approvals for the bids through the bidding? I heard you say you're waiting on some, you've waited months for some. It usually takes 30 to 60 days. Have any of the agencies that you're dealing with given the approval yet?
Yes.
How many?
Army Corps has given the approval,
Okay.
Ohio Public Works has given the approval.
So if you,
USDA has given the approval, so we're still waiting on DEFA water, DEFA sewer, USDA, and, so maybe I would say half of
And then you have to go out for public bids,
Right.
correct?
the, yeah.
Is that 30 days or, how long is the bid process, like 30 days?
The bid process needs to be by law 2 weeks and a day.
Okay.
For
So-
a project this large, it would behoove us to go for much longer.
Okay.
I think, is this all public, does this go anywhere, is it going on the website or anything?
This goes on
Yeah, it
YouTube
goes on
tomorrow.
YouTube. Every meeting is on YouTube.
Okay, because I think that, what you said is really good, like, let's manage some expectations, like, don't expect to see anything until January, at the earliest, don't expect to see something.
Yeah,
Because, you know, people don't, everybody said it, they don't listen, they don't, whatever. And so, I went to your site, and that's where I learned all this. But by the way, I'll just tell y'all, there were 3 different emails, like, you know, portlandcity.com, socialmedia.com, or, and that's why I'm here. I went like 3 different places, sent emails, nobody ever got back to me. So that's why I'm here today.
Those aren't ours though.
Well, there were like 3 different, I went to websites, I went to social media sites, and there were 3 different email addresses that said that you have inquiries for the city and different things, and I hit them all and sent an email, nobody ever got back to me.
Well,
They're not,
I mean,
they would come to me.
But I learned a lot about it by going to.
I'm glad that you showed up tonight, but just so you know, that like the wards, theirs start out ward, I mean, they have their wards and the at-larges are council. And I'm like, PC president.
PCPOC.
Yeah.
It's funny, so I went to the website and I learned a lot about what you all just talked about here, what the 20 was for, what the levy was for. Learned all about all that, but learned the most important thing from you right now about timing, because that was my question. What is timing? What's it look like? And a lot of that was there on the website, and that helped quite a bit. So now I won't have to get out there because I just heard it.
But I got a question. I went on YouTube to try to get on this website and couldn't get on it, but I can get on YouTube, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
I tried to see, because I had a major surgery in December, I wanted to keep up, and I couldn't, but I can get on regular YouTube and watch other stuff, so I don't know what's clicking.
In the last month, I've been posting that on our Facebook page as well, so there's a link on our Facebook page
Which
as well.
face, what?
We only have one Facebook page, City of Port Clinton.
So you have been posting it there? Okay, because I
Yes, ma'am.
haven't seen it, because I checked it out. And I agree with her. Now, as far as the pothole, I understand what you're talking about. But right out here, when I came here, there was a patch, like a 4x4. And that was done excellent, right? Now, just hear me out. Now, when you guys patch a little patch, I understand it'll get knocked out, whatever, by the snow plows in the wintertime. Or you make them bumpy and you're going like this, or you got a big crater and you've got car destroyed and all that. You go off a 2nd Street and there's a street, I don't know if it's what it is. You guys will sometimes use like looks like you got like one of those squeeze things, like filler, that squeezes and fills in cracks instead of patching. Just at one street off the 2nd, the whole street's like that, and I go, why don't they do more of that? When you guys start noticing a crack, fill it in with that instead of the big patching and have all these bumps along with the dip. Yeah, you can go off the 2nd Street, you'll see it.
Okay, thank you. We'll get back to that.
If I could for a second?
Yes.
Let me tell you this little anecdotal story that happened to me personally about the roads. We all know that they're POS. They've been that way forever.
Yeah.
My dad will be 81 in October, and he grew up in the 400 block of Jefferson Street. And as a kid, he would play baseball and football in the street in the 200 block of East 5th. I'll picture where that is. During COVID, Dad and I were overseas, had to come back, and we chose to quarantine for 14 days, so I lived at my parents' house for 14 days at 50-some years old, which was not fun. But anyways, just to get out of the house, we would drive around town and solve the world's problems. And we were driving in that 200 block of 5th Street back in 2020, and Dad said, hey, pull over. So I pulled over and kind of scratched his head. And 68 years. Dad, what's 68 years? And that's when he told me about playing baseball and football in the street. 68 years ago is the last time anybody did anything with that street. And that's common all over town.
Oh, yeah, I know.
What we're trying to do here is correct generations of problems. And unfortunately, it's taken monumental effort to get to where we are now. The simple answer is we could avoid all of this, with the exception of the railroad issue, by quadrupling
Right.
the infrastructure fees.
No,
We don't want to do that.
what he said,
Yeah,
it sounds really good.
You get the money, but it comes with some strings. And
All
it's just taken.
instead of potholing, if you notice a crack, use that sealer stuff. I mean, you can go down that street off the Second, you'll see it. You know, you don't have to use the patch, you don't have to have that pounder out there, and you can check it out.
I have one more question for you. I agree with you, Chair. If you can write, what you just said was excellent.
Yeah.
If you can write that in something very informative, but also very short, because people don't read long things.
And not very good at short.
Yeah. But yeah, and I mean, even if, I'm not saying Kleinfelder can send it, I don't know what your budget is, but if you got that, at least email it to us, at least we can get it out there. And what you said was so sensible.
I'll put together a one-pager, I'll get it approved by the city, and then Kleinfelder will pay for the envelopes and the postage. That's the least we can do.
One page.
Thank you so much.
I can relax with these meetings now.
Yeah, you're welcome, I know it's a huge, it's the least we can do.
And thank you for your apology and for acknowledging the frustrations we have and what everybody's been going through. I appreciate that greatly. So.
Yeah.
And to keep up at the projects, that's greatly needed. And I don't know if I commit to a date because we've had, so much happens in the world, but I appreciate it and the information today. Thank you very much for that.
Obviously, I'm here for more questions. I have the cover page for the plans that has our demarcation between the lines. I'm going to put it up here on the table if anyone's interested. You can see the streets that we're targeting. Worth talking about the USDA project split? Water sewer split? Demarcation.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so it's up there.
Thank you both very much for coming. Thank you.
Madam President, if I can just, I feel like I have to clarify a point about the large federal funding streams. No federal grants that the city has access to has been awarded are ever prepay. That these funds are delivered to our bank account and we're sitting there accruing interest, just waiting for these approvals. That's not how it works. It's almost always relatively quick. Monthly reimbursements are sometimes quicker, sometimes longer, or direct pay from the funding agency with the money earmarked for Port Clinton for the improvements here, paid directly to the vendor. So please let no one believe that the millions and millions of dollars from USDA or Army Corps of Engineers or US EPA is sitting there doing nothing. The money is there for improvements in our community, but the money is not sitting with the city's bank accounts waiting for this approval and executing contracts. That's the way the federal government requires it to be, which is sound fiscal management, oversight of expenditures, making sure that everything's eligible. Doug Nusser and others will submit reimbursement requests, which include detailed invoices of what improvements were paid for, what unit cost, at what time, and that's how we receive those dollars back. So please let no one think that millions of dollars are sitting there available that were awarded from Congresswoman Capper or senators in the past for earmarks and other projects, Army Corps funding that's sitting there doing nothing. We don't have it, but dollars will flow when the eligible expenditures come up.
And Mr. Beal, maybe if you can explain where the infrastructure fee is going.
No.
Because I know there are questions out there. People think, government, you cannot commingle money. It's not like when you're at home and you have your savings in your checking, you take a little out of your savings to pay for something, put it in your checking. Government has designated funds. If you can explain that.
The monthly EDU charge, infrastructure fee, impact fee that equates for most folks to $20 per month, sits within a separate fund, infrastructure improvement fund, and those dollars are restricted to only these uses, the ones that Bennett and Doug were talking about for the water sewer improvement portion of the project. So things that are coming up, that and other related water sewer things, capital improvements, that's where those dollars are going. None of it is going to purchase water from regional water, even though their costs to us go up every year. It's not going to other things. It's restricted to those types of expenditures, specifically the improvements of the water.
Purchasing equipment, trucks, or anything like that, correct?
Correct. It's for capital improvements and associated costs to make sure that those become a successful reality.
Thank you for that.
It's not operations. It's not, you know, paying for a water office people to stuff the envelopes, to send out the mailers or the bills and all that. It's specifically for the improvements to the underlying water and sewer systems in the city.
And new projects.
And new projects.
Yeah, you spoke of possible previous loans and whatnot that the city had being paid off. The city
I was
does,
talking to him that there, because it just said that Fort Clinton, whatever you guys had, it's, what the EPA is done. I've got the article on my phone. So it's done, we don't have to worry about some kind of little parasite in the water, I don't know.
Yeah, there's no additional
It's all-
dollars that need to change hands because of that. They're talking about old dollars that have been expended in the consent decree that's been lifted on the wastewater treatment plant. Wastewater treatment plant only, and the combined sewer overflows. It has nothing to do with water, it has nothing to do with the water plant either.
yeah. And
Okay.
any debt that is still in place from previous projects, previously completed projects, infrastructure funding is not being used to pay for that debt service.
Okay, okay, thanks.
It's only for new projects
Okay, thank you.
moving forward.
Can I ask one more question? About Five Corners, is that, right, for the Jug Express and all that, is that what's called Five Corners?
Yes.
When that all is dug up and then resurfaced, is that gonna be redesigned or is it still gonna be the same thing?
It is being redesigned. The initial plan, or the initial study that was done, proposed a roundabout there for, to continue with current pattern for turning that corner in the 5 points. We began the project intending to do that for cost reasons because the roundabout was cost prohibitive for the funding we had. In our first project field meeting, scope meeting, to begin the project with ODOT, because they have a large portion of grant money that they provided for the project. As we were standing there, there were at least 2 near-miss
We
accidents
walked there every day.
that they witnessed, and they looked down at the preliminary plan, conceptual plan for what they were going to fund, and they said, we don't think this is going to work. And we said, well, we don't think it'll be the best. Roundabout would be the best, but we don't quite have that much money. They took that back to their office, and we were fortunate enough for them to come up with about another $1.5 million in funding, so that 5-point intersection will be changing to a roundabout. If everything goes well.
So all rolled into this whole big project?
Yeah, that project specifically is separate from the water sewer project,
Mhm.
and I believe right now it's planned by ODOT to begin in 2028, fall of 2028.
So the roads will be redone and then the roundabout?
The water sewer project that we're speaking on mostly this evening will be done. None of that project except for a water line of Harrison Street, a portion of Harrison is included in the water sewer project. Then the Perry Monroe Harrison project will include utility replacements after the water sewer project. That'll be phase 1 construction. And then about 9 months later, we hope to have the street portions being reconstructed and then resurfaced.
So now let me make sure I understand. Those roads won't be a part of this and won't be done, so that project won't go till 2028?
That's
Is that-
correct. In order to take advantage of that additional funding that ODOT's providing.
Oh. Okay. And that project starting, this project starting winter 27 would go through, so they'll be kind of overlapping because that one would go through the end of 28,
Yes.
end of 28, that one starts, so they'll be kind of overlapping.
We're fortunate enough to be able to have construction contracts executed, everything taken care of, so the contract is ready to start construction in February or March. It would probably be August, September 2028. If in fact he uses the entire 18 months. There's a possibility that they could get done sooner than that, but we won't know until the contractors are selected. However, if they do finish early, ODOT's very strict on their scheduling. They won't move the project up. So that project still will be 2028 if it stays on schedule.
Okay.
And we do have a railroad permit we need to get for that project. But we have started that process already.
And Mr. Nusser, isn't it correct that sometimes you may apply for something now, but it's actually not money for 2 years?
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah, ODOT's grant funding is typically set aside only for construction. And then the local engineering, any testing that needs to be done in advance of construction, that all typically comes out of the city's pocket direct.
Madam President, if I may, ma'am, you mentioned that the infrastructure fee you're paying for.
Yeah.
And then you also mentioned your age after that.
I know you can get a discount, I got it trot up there and.
Okay, you're aware of the
Yeah,
H2O
I'm aware of
program?
that. And like I said, I had major surgery in December, I'm starting to get myself back together. And this is my first council meeting since the last time I was told to, slap that. So I haven't been here for 6 months, so I plan on doing that.
And I believe, is there an application that somebody can mail to?
We probably could mail in an application if that helped you out.
Okay.
We need an address.
It's on the form. I have it. She filled it.
Thank
And
you.
then that would help. That
Thank you
would
so
help.
much, I appreciate that. Is that
That-
on my list to do?
That program has been around for how long, Mr. Beal? That was your.
Remember the several years. and,
Yeah, it's probably 4 years.
It's well
That was
spread.
Mr. Beal. Just
Well, when did it go from 1250 to 20? Last summer.
Last
Last
summer.
summer.
And they issue a
I
program.
just found out about it, so it wasn't like I knew about it at 1250 either. So.
And that program is available to over 65.
Yeah, 65, I think there's a deadline as far as to apply, so don't hold me to it. It's matter.
No, there's a deadline, really? I just can't go up there and apply for it and get it?
No, there is a deadline. It's everybody, what's that?
Limited number of funds allocated.
The council allocates a certain amount of funding. I'm not sure how much is left. I will do some research, I'll get in touch with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Just, sorry, one more thing, piggybacking off of Mr. Velo. All of the funding sources that we have incredibly strict 100-page long legal documents that we have to go through, and in them is prompt payment laws that dictate how quickly these funds need to go from agency to the city and then back to either the engineering firm or the contractor. And violating those is massive litigated damage. So it's definitely not happening, and if it were, we would be in trouble. So thank you for your time, and if you have any more
Thank you.
questions, I'm here.
I just wanted to say, like, some of the rumors on mine is that we've lost funding, and that's not true, right?
Correct.
Yes.
It's not awesome.
Oh,
We're worried about it a little bit.
yeah,
Delays,
We're not.
but we haven't, okay.
but there's been no indications from anyone.
You know, there's actually something in red on your website that says that there was money lost, held back. I had it pulled up, and it's right at the top, it's in red, and it says something like that.
Pause.
Yeah, and it doesn't really, it didn't really correct it, so I thought, oh no, the money's not there. That's what I thought when I read that at the top of your website, so.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to public comment.
Bethany Bell, 725 Madison Street.
First one. Okay, here we go. Some of this stuff, like Mr. Like, could be falling underneath county, right? So if they're underneath county. You give me my email address, First of all, you don't want to show this email, do you?
Don't email me, you can,
Well, I go right to the money guy. Okay?
When public comment, anyone that signed up, you have 5 minutes to speak.
Oh, I know, believe me, I think it should be extended longer. Some of the stuff I've already said. Last time. Okay, I want to know the purchase of the key bank. taxpayer money?
At the moment, the Key Bank building, we are in the process of working with something called a criteria architect, working on the design phase of that. That we anticipate that by this time next year, we will be in the building. The existing city hall at 1868 East Perry Street, from the health department south to the police department, that city-county combined building was owned 70% by the county, 30% by the city. The county has agreed to purchase the city's 30% at $300,000 more than we purchased the Key Bank building.
Okay, hang on a second. I heard the Key Bank, I heard the Key Bank is 800,000. Is that correct or not?
775.
775?
Yeah, and we saw 200,000. We sold our portion for 975.
So how much did we get for the city?
975. $200,000 above and beyond. Now, in addition to that, this was kind of a perfect timing thing. We haven't talked about this publicly, and I'm not going to mention, you'll understand what I'm saying, I'm not going to mention part of this here. Tracy Colston, former safety service director, and I learned that at least one agency currently working out of the county courthouse was looking to relocate outside of the city. That agency generates $3.4 million in payroll on an annual basis at 1.5%, which is the city's income tax. That's about $50,000 a year that the city would have lost had that entity moved out of the city. That particular entity is one of those that the commissioners are looking at putting at 1868 East Perry Street.
You mean the county?
The county, when instead of moving outside of the city, they're going to relocate that department to 1868. I have also learned of potentially one additional entity that may take up some space there. So we have that. Again, $50,000 is about 1.5%. $50,000 is about 1.5% of our city's annual income tax. So it was a win-win. We get to keep that income tax. We get a building in downtown. If you talk to any planner, any city planner, you want to have a city hall in downtown. I wasn't around when we moved City Hall from where it's currently located, or from 2nd Street to its current location. I'm sure there were a variety of factors, but you want to have City Hall in downtown.
Okay, well, we'll agree to disagree on that one. Key Bank still has a lease on that building?
Until 2029.
Okay, are you guys paying off the lease to break it?
No, we've indicated that we will not extend the lease. At this time, we've had no conversation with Key Bank.
Yeah, because that's what I did with my banking was, and I knew that. So what departments are going to be moving to the Key Bank? What departments?
Everything at the existing City Hall, including the police department, are moving to the Key Bank, to 201 Madison.
Okay. So I already answered, okay, the 15 million upgrade that we already took care of that. I called the EPA today, I'm still gonna call them back. The roads. And he answered this, you mostly, so that's the, okay, now the fire department. We all know why the fire department levy didn't pass.
Why is that?
Yeah,
tell us.
Oh, I can tell you why, because of the tax increases here and the roads, the infrastructure fee, you name it, you turn like this and you get taxed, okay? I know it takes money to, I'm not stupid, I've been around long enough. You need tax money for your police department, your fire department, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That is why it failed. Because you guys are taxing us to death, basically.
Ma'am,
So-
do you know that, ma'am, I'm sorry, do you know that the property taxes are not set by the city, that's set by the county auditor? And the city only gets 1.5%.
Well, it's not my problem.
Well, what you're accusing us?
Well, I'm just saying, listen, well, no, you listen to the tape. Listen, you start here too. There are entities out there that help these small fire departments. Who here on this panel works on grants or calls for help?
Me.
Who?
Me.
Okay. For the fire department, you can call the U.S. Fire Administration Ohio Department of Commerce, Firefighters Charitable Foundation, Federal Emergency FEMA, National Volunteer Council, Volunteer Fire Assist, VFA, and have any of these been contacted?
Yeah,
So we can get our fire department, I agree, they need their equipment, they need whatever, I agree with it.
I can,
But I'm telling you, that's why it didn't pass. It's because we were being taxed it out, the roads, the water fee, everything.
yeah. I can tell you on the FEMA point, I was on the FEMA website today because the fire chief indicated the fire department intends to apply for assistance to firefighters grant, an annual solicitation that comes up, a grant for a new fire engine, which would be a significant cost to their capital plan, so, yes?
Yeah, well, they should, yeah, anything that's out there should be, you guys should, whoever's in charge of doing it, should be out there on it.
Chief Gutman is running over, was it 800,000 that he said?
Yeah.
So,
So that because they need to do it.
Yes.
I was there when the fire chief spoke, and I felt bad for him. But I'm telling you why it did not pass was because we're being taxed here, taxed there, pay this fee, pay that fee, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, Dave, who was our last city audit from the state?
It's wrapping up now, it's an annual occurrence.
Pardon?
It's an annual occurrence.
Yeah, so last time I looked, there was
Okay,
one little issue that came up.
Ma'am, please wrap up. There's other people that want to speak, so please wrap up.
So did we pass it? Because there was one thing that kind of popped out. Was it fixed?
Was it what?
It was fixed. Was it fixed?
audit.
I don't
Okay,
think you're
I'll
talking
find it, I'll
about-
send it to you. Okay? Because you told me to send out.
Okay, thank you. Next person, please.
Pat Jensen, 200 West Lake Shore Drive, Unit 4. I'm good. I had the road question, yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Sonia Call Zimmerman, 517 Laurel.
Hi. Well, take a nice deep breath and release. Okay, ready to go. I perused the website, and Ms. Phillips' picture is still on the website as a council person.
You're looking at a previous page that's it's been cached, that I have no control over.
Okay.
Our website does not have her on it at all.
Okay, well, because I went there to find the meeting location tonight, and she's under.
It's something that's cached somehow on your computer,
Okay.
but I can guarantee you, all current council people are on our current website.
I'll look when I get home, but I'm just saying.
I think when you go through Google, it's messing up. So if you type in portland.com, the newest stuff will come up. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
So it's a,
yeah, it's a
like a hyperzone.
yeah. I know.
All right, so community involvement. As you know, I'm part of the Jerry Trolley City Park Garden unit to help beautify the parks. And Barb McClure, myself, and Michelle, something, we take care of the Lake View Park. And we have a budget, and it's fully planted. We just need to put the mulch in there. And thank you, Auto Gardens. And I want to thank the Friends of the Park, because now we have cement sidewalks. So that's really nice. So we water the plant, and we receive many, many, many compliments about the park. However, my bones are starting to creak. So, and Barb's, we're creaking. So I have some kind of pie-in-the-sky idea to have more community involvement so that we could have younger people help us. And when we had our formal meetings, I would always say to Tracy, how can we recruit younger people? How can we get them in here? Do we need to ask Pat Adkins to make this part of their community service? I know they do have to do 10 hours. What's 10 hours? But what can we do to promote more community service to help out? Even I know there's senior people in the community that need their yards mowed, all of this type of thing. What can we do as a community come together to help more and more people? Because I have a lady, I just went to her house to help her clean, and she has all this medical stuff, and she can't do anything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, can I help you? you, you know, we need the help of other people. So what is in this community other than, you know, we have the Community Advocacy Center and all these other organizations and nonprofits, but what can we actually do? Because seriously, in the next 2 to 6, 8 years, the community's gonna have to.
Have you reached out to like Rotary or Lions?
No.
They, it's also, I mean, I've heard of Rotary, but it's also a group, but they do community things.
Okay.
Rotary, Lions, and Kiwanis possibly. So.
They're all getting up there too.
Yes.
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 I'm,
Yes, we are, yeah.
For some reason, we just can't get young people to volunteer.
Yeah.
Vermillion has a waiting list of 70 people that want to help with beautification.
But I know that there's a leadership council at the
And
high
we
school.
have 5.
Or maybe a gardening club, you know,
Yeah.
see if they could start a gardening club at the high school.
Because the next thing, my last suggestion is that, has anyone thought on the city council committee to take the city council meeting to the Portland High School so seniors can attend as part of their senior government graduate credit? Because young people have zero clue about any of this stuff. So somehow we have to get more involvement with they're staring at their phones and, you know.
I know the mayor has gone to the government class before, haven't you?
Yeah. So, I mean, think about it.
The city council is the preview of President of Council, Mrs. Sark. She's the one that made the arrangements for here.
Right.
We are just here as
Right.
guests of what happens over there. But yes, we actually have tried to move, I don't want to speak for you, but
Yes.
trying to move it on a regular basis, at least once a
Something
year.
for some kind of outreach, start thinking about
And that's why
outreach
we've
stuff
hit
like that.
Weston just to get some,
Yeah.
if people want a chance to get here, I mean.
Right.
you know,
This is the
some
best
stuff-
attended council meeting we've had
Yes, it
in years.
Yes. So that's COVID.
Yeah.
I can barely did COVID.
If I could, ma'am, with the elderly woman that you were speaking with, Ottawa County Senior Resources, which is a county level agency,
Right.
you may want to reach out to them, and I can give you a phone number of one of their employees.
I'll get it.
That they do some wonderful things from Meals on Wheels. I don't know if they do lawn care, but they can do transportation to medical and so forth.
Maybe there needs
But-
to be like a localized something, so all these services where you just plug into one place and.
And they will be able to help you with that. The Sutton Center was built and designed just for
Yes,
what
I
you're talking
know,
about.
my office is there.
Yeah. With regard to volunteers, it is an issue with Rotary. And we get 12 members at Kiwanis, and I'm the 3rd youngest person there.
No, I
Everything's the same way. Our cemetery,
know.
Friends of the Cemetery are getting up there. If once you come up with that solution, we will have to pray
Yes,
for
I
it.
share.
Well, we have to try something.
Yeah, thank you.
We do shovel driveways.
I just had a quick question. Did Pat Atkins provide you any guidance on whether he can make that part
I
of it?
haven't asked him yet.
Oh,
He hasn't reached
okay.
out to me. I figured I'd come here and plant the seed first and then maybe branch out, and because he's very proactive with that.
Okay, because every year we have Government Day, and
Right,
then
yeah.
we have the juniors come
Yeah.
to City Hall, and they learn about City Hall, and they,
The whole
participate.
entire junior class. are
So there's
so
just,
individualized.
there's.
The ones in that class.
Yeah, the ones in the class, government class, and then, they're able to come to a council meeting if they'd like, and.
No, I'm saying make it mandatory.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what.
not- we're not giving them.
Well, that's why I asked you about it, yeah.
They haven't attended the council meeting the last 3 years.
Yeah, it would be wonderful if the school could get
Well,
involved.
unfortunately, you have to make it mandatory.
Yeah.
So,
For credit.
yeah,
Right, thank you.
Just like Jim Claus.
Thank you. Anybody else?
No, I'm sorry, we are complete.
Okay. We're going to executive officers report. Council this evening, there are 3 new ordinances. Ordinance 20-26 is on for its first read. It will not be assigned to a committee. It is time sensitive. I believe Mr. Muser will talk about that when we get to that ordinance. Ordinance 21-26 can go for 3 reads. That will be assigned to the Safety Service and Public Works Committee. And ordinance 22-26 is also time sensitive. They've asked it Administration has asked that be passed on its second read, and that will be assigned to the Finance Committee, and I will let Mrs. Lewis know when she's back to approve that in her meeting. And that is all I have this evening. Mr. Snyder.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, members of council, everyone in attendance. Again, she just took off. I want to thank Connie and the Oakland County Family Advocacy Center for opening up the doors, and I hope we can do this in future years as well. Just a quick update on the search for a full-time SSD. Mr. Sasson said he's going to do it full-time. Wanted to see if you're paying attention.
Bad connection.
We have interviews scheduled for this coming Friday, and I hope with this batch of folks that we'll be able to move forward in a expedient fashion. This is obviously the second week of the month, so brush pickup is well underway. There's a lot of stuff out there from all the storms and whatnot. There is a list of about 12 properties with high grass. They'll get to them as soon as they can. We're trying to keep up on our grass with all the rain that we've had. Everybody here that mows knows that it just isn't stopping growing. Update on the concession stand. As you know, you approved a lease agreement with Lighthouse Sober Living. They came to us and said, hey, we've got too much stuff going on. We thought we could do it. We're not going to be able to do it this year. We reached out to another entity that contacted us and kind of working through that process, so hopefully we'll be with you sooner rather than later on an entity that is in the refreshment, ice cream realm, if you will. I have infrastructure project review, we talked about that a great deal. If you want to mark this down, members of council and anyone in the community, this coming Thursday at 3 p.m. at 107 Madison Street. This Thursday at 107 Madison Street. Lake Erie Art Collective, they'll be having a ribbon cutting hosted by Chamber and Main Street, which is open to the community. And please don't tell my mom. I was in there the other day and I got her birthday gift. Her birthday's on the 19th. The senior picnic is slated for August 7th, Monday, August 7th. That will take place at, no, Monday. No, Friday, August 7th. Friday, August 7th. I don't have Friday. Friday, August 7th from 11 to 1 at the City Garage at 33 Park. Just show up. You don't have to pre-register for that. Just show up. Burgers, dogs, all that fun stuff. You may have noticed a lot of construction going on in Waterworks Park. The splash pad is under construction. The completion date is set for on or about the 15th of July. So again, weather pending, they're moving right along there. 4th of July, one of the most popular events other than the fireworks is the Voices of Freedom concert, the community choir. Greg Fox, former high school choir director, is again conducting that choir. Rehearsals are every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m. at Trinity United Methodist Church. And if you're interested in participating, just simply show up or give Greg a call at 419-341-2579. 419-341-2579. I received a card earlier today somewhere around here. The national matches obviously are coming back to town for the 100 and some odd year. Here's where Monday comes in. On Monday the 13th of July at 4:30 p.m. They will have the first shot ceremony out at Camp Perry. If you've never been to it, it's really cool. When you pull into Camp Perry, just continue straight until you hit a flagpole or the MP says you can't go any farther. It's a really, really, really neat event. And finally, I would like to introduce the community to an honored guest, Pear, who's sitting here in the front row. In my day job, you all know I operate a condo rental company. Pear is one of our exchange visitors. We will have 5 this summer working for me. She is from Thailand, which is a parliamentary monarchy, which means the king, if he doesn't like the law, he can change it. She has been here for about a month now. She's working not only at the Our Guest Inn and Suites, but in the kitchen, making lots and lots of pizzas and pretzels at the Brick House. When it's all said and done, here in another couple of weeks, there'll be 5 ladies. But in general, throughout the Port Clinton, Catawba, Marblehead area, they're anticipating about 550 exchange visitors. They all really, really want to speak English, so if you see them, please stop them, say hello, or in her case, sawadee ka. And do you want to say anything?
Funny, they never do.
No, they don't. Obviously, her name is Pear, her brother's name is Peach. That's the nickname they're given by their father, I can't pronounce her, but what is your real name?
Real name?
Yeah.
Pishamon.
And the last name?
Yoking. Yeah.
Say that 3 times fast. Madam President, unless anyone has any questions, that concludes my report.
Does anyone on the council have any questions for the mayor? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Then we run the auditor's report, Mr. Beal.
Thank you, Madam President. Council, good to be with you. On the agenda, ordinance 1926 appropriates a further $325,000 for fiscal year 2026. $100,000 of that pertains to active transportation infrastructure investment program grant award from the Federal Highway Administration for planning and connection between the city and the Sandusky Bay Pathway over to Erie County. The grant agreement was received and accepted by the city last week. We just await final sign-off from the Federal Highway Administration's acquisition office. Smith Group was competitively selected by the city for that planned work. The federal grant amount is $100,000 plus cost shares of $15,000 from GSP and $10,000 from Park District of Ottawa County, and those funds have already been received. The city will be reimbursed 100% of the project cost up to $100,000, which is the award amount. $225,000 of the $325,000 increase in ordinance 19 is a further transfer to the fire fund to cover supply and equipment needs and other necessary expenses through the end of the year. I look forward to discussing the ordinance with the finance committee. Just one other point on the FEMA issue that came up earlier with the fire department. If we're successful getting a grant for whatever equipment that the fire department needs, council would then need to appropriate that money, just like we're being asked to. We're asking you to appropriate the additional $100,000 for the pathway planning exercise as well. So even though federal grants are not out of pocket for the city or local taxpayers necessarily, they still have to be appropriated in the legislative process. Ordinance 2126 on the agenda tonight is an immediate follow-up to Resolution 26-4 passed at the last council meeting on May 26th to resume grant activities under the Urban Community Forestry Grant Award through American Forest. I presented last week to American Forest a spend plan for the remaining balance of over $750,000 of the award. That plan included $500,000 for tree canopy in the historic downtown and central business district, $140,000 for tree plantings and neighborhood tree lawns and city parks, and the remaining balance toward tree maintenance and an urban forestry management plan, all through contracts. Ordinance 2126 pertains solely to the downtown canopy piece, authorizing an RFP and contract for downtown streetscape canopy improvements fully funded through the grant award with no cost to be borne by the city. And that's made clear throughout the ordinance. I proposed the downtown trees last week to the mayor, safety service director, service department foreman, and tree commissioner, tree commission chair, and I'm delighted there was broad agreement. This will be an excellent and much needed improvement to the downtown, and one that will be fully funded 100% by the federal government. And our goal will be to start construction in February of next year and wrap up by the fall. The grant expires at the end of April 2028, so we'll hopefully have to move. We'll be able to move at warp speeds so that all those dollars aren't left on the table will be claimed by the federal government. So I look forward to your support on ordinance 21 and on future ordinances pertaining to some of those other grant activities. Council, I presented to you yesterday, June 8th, the fiscal officer's certificate pertaining to ordinance 2226, which pertains to a further note issuance following ordinance 1925, passed last year in June. The original purchase of the property located at 201 Madison Street, the new city hall. Ordinance 1925 last year authorized issuance of not more than $2.25 million in notes. The city issued just $1 million in notes. I'll just note for everyone here, there was $219,000 remaining in that fund at the end of 2025, solely for the relocation and improvements at 201 Madison Street. The ordinance tonight, which I'm asking council pass at the next regularly scheduled meeting, ordinance 26, effectively rolls over that principal amount of charges and to finance that amount until we have a solid renovation plan with professional cost estimate. And that could last up through, I misread. The notes will have a call feature that allows the city to pay off the note earlier should Key Bank exit before the expiration of its current lease, so there's flexibility provided within the ordinance to allow the city to minimize interest costs while still being able to complete the renovation in a cost-effective manner. The bond anticipation notes last year, the 2025 bands mature July 22nd, so council passage at the next meeting, June 23rd, is my request in order to make that payoff date. I think just have two more things. I don't think the mayor had indicated earlier, but all signs point to the city of Port Clinton being awarded through ODNR and the state capital bill project $450,000 for further improvements, recreational improvements at Waterworks Park. This will continue what happens after the splash pad is there, including surrounding improvements, which is great. And there's no cost share, so effectively zero cost or free money from the city, from the state legislators, which I appreciate. Council passed Resolution 25-6 last fall. That directed the mayor, auditor, law director, treasurer, director of safety and service to collaborate with property owners, developers, builders, and other stakeholders, and utilize all appropriate economic development incentives that are available, including community reinvestment area, or CRA as we call it, among other supports to promote residential growth and increase available single-family housing stock. So, just as a refresher, the CRA program provides real property tax exemptions, or property tax exemption for property owners who renovate existing buildings or construct new buildings. So on CRA, I've discussed with a few members of council and other folks at City Hall last fall, but I want to bring this up now. On CRA, City Council should approve legislation to replace the 3 existing CRA districts. So there's one downtown that has always been there unused. It's been used at least once for residential improvement. East Perry Street, which facilitated the construction of the Fairfield Inn at the time, and on the south side of town, south of the high school, which facilitated the construction of Shepherd Crossing back in the day. Replace that with one citywide CRA that runs city limit east-west, lake to south, to encourage revitalization of everything, including existing housing stock and development of new structures. I think that legislation should include eligibility for residential new construction and residential remodeling, but also commercial industrial new construction and remodeling. That's what's available from the state for Ohio Revised Code, Ohio Department of Development, I believe it is. You can also set by legislation, what I encourage council to do is to set that terms of the CRA program revamp to the maximum allowable limits by the state. Will have generally up to 15 years property tax abatement of up to 100%, depending on the size and scope of your project and how much you're going to spend. Be consistent with that original resolution, which came up when we were talking with the potential housing, an individual interested in developing a new residential neighborhood just outside the city. So this would maximize that, consistent with that resolution that the council passed last year, provide real property tax relief to owners, residents who are making improvements on their lot from their buildings. So we're with council, and hopefully maybe we can make this meaningful change enacted sometime this summer. And that concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions you may
Does
have.
anyone on council have a question for Mr. Yule?
Now, you said there were no city funds coming out for 21, 26. Can you repeat that again?
Sure.
Ordinance 21, 26.
Yeah, ordinance 21-26 was
No
another
city funds?
Yeah, on the agenda here, ordinance 21-26 at the bottom of page 2. Ordinance authorizing the director of safety and service to advertise for proposals and enter into a contract for downtown streetscape tree canopy improvement services, fully funded through the city of Port Clinton, Federal Community Forestry Inflation Reduction Act grant award with no cost to be borne by the city.
Maybe that's reiterated.
Yeah. Thank you. We'll move on to the treasurer, Mr. Dale.
Thank you. Bed tax collected year to date, we're at $64,997.75 for dock tax, $19,325. Our short-term rental registration fees year to date, $26,300 in growth.
Anyone on council have any questions for the treasurer? Say no, we'll move on to the law director's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Just a couple of things. So we, back prior to May of 2026, we sent out letters to all the taxi cab companies advising them that they need to become compliant and register. Good news, they all came in and they're all compliant. Everybody is registered. These are the ones that primarily identified as working out of Port Clinton. In order to register, you have to register your taxi cab. If you are picking up passengers in Port Clinton for whatever reason, and that's just for the taxi cabs. If, for example, you primarily work out of Sandusky and somebody needs to be dropped off in Port Clinton, you do not need to register because you're here just for dropping someone off. But I believe we have 4 or 5 different companies, they're all registered, but council, since they all became compliant, there were some questions that were brought up, so we're looking at probably revising the taxi cab ordinance again to clarify a few things. So look forward to that. Also, our tree ordinance, we met with ODNR, and there was a very nice lady who came, and she is going to help the city update our tree ordinance. It's pretty old. So we're going to update that to have questions. People have questions all the time, and unfortunately our ordinance is old, so we will hopefully have the new ordinance coming to you within the next couple of months that will clarify a lot of those questions up front, so it's pretty cut and dry. Also, just a few things. We are seeing a lot of people here now, and we're seeing a lot more trash cans, the bins that are left out at the curb all week. That is a minor misdemeanor charge, because if you're not following with the ordinance we have for our trash ordinance. So just a friendly reminder, whatever your day is to pick up, if it's Wednesday or Thursday, trash cans go out 24 hours before and need to be picked up 24 hours after. You can be cited if they're left out there week, and it's week after week after week. There's the same people who seem to do that. So also, along with the trash can ordinance, we have the lawn furniture ordinance, which is basically you can't put stuff in the boulevard for an extended period of time. So if you have a couch, if you have a chair, or if you have even small little things, 24 hours they can be out on the boulevard. If you, for example, made arrangements with Republic to come pick it up, then just put it out 24 hours before they tell you they're coming. If, for example, you're older and you have a son that's visiting on a Monday, but Republic can't come until Thursday, just give the city a call and just let us know that, this is what's going on and you won't be bothered with that. Also, summer brings parking tickets. So the city's parking ticket is $30 for the first ticket, and then it goes up to $60, and then it goes up to $90. We established a parking court a few years ago to collect all the tickets that have not been paid on by people who live here locally and also people who visit from out of town. Happy to say that we've completed 2022, 23, 24, and 25. So we just have some tickets in 2026 that we're trying to collect on. But if anyone does get a ticket, call the city or come up to the police department if you have questions, because that does jump from $30 to $60 to $90. And that's not fun if you have that ticket. So I just want to let you know that. Just a little housekeeping. Also, I know before there were some questions about who can help seniors and who can beautify and do volunteer work. I know the high school kids are not fans of doing that all the time, but there are service organizations. We have the Cub Scouts here in town, Port Clinton, Troop 361. We have the Boy Scouts, which is Troop 360, and then we have the Girl Scouts. All those groups are looking for service opportunities. volunteer opportunities. So for example, if you need help at Lakeview Park or different, watering things at the cemetery, anything, reach out to the leaders of those groups, because unfortunately these kids really enjoy volunteering. And my son is in the back and making faces at me. But, part of being part of those groups, they do receive like patches and things to show that they participated and did that. Just wanted to throw that out there. Also, there is a task force on aging. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that. Rachel Thal, who works at McGruder Hospital, she's the contact. If you give her a call, there is a booklet that Ottawa County made for contact individuals for each service that is needed. So if anyone has a question about something, if you give her a call, she'll get you that booklet, and then that will point you in the right direction. And that is all I have, Madam President.
Anyone on council, any questions for the law director?
I just want to, I'm sorry, Madam President. I've gotten, I don't want to say quite a few, but a few complaints about these e-bikes, these scooters, these. Coming here, I almost hit a kid because she was going to run a stop sign until I honked, and then, of course, I get the dirty look. Is there, what can we do?
So the Ohio Revised Code, it has two different sections, one for e-bikes and one for scooters. Since we are a statutory city, we follow the Ohio Revised Code, unless we make an ordinance that might be more strict than the Ohio Revised Code. In the Ohio Revised Code, it states specifically that with these electric scooters, if you are under the age of 16, so if, they usually say like 14 to 16, but you really should not be on a scooter under 14. That's what the revised code says.
This girl could have been 10 and
I
she
know.
had a baby.
I know.
A little baby in front of her.
I know.
Why is this happening? Right?
Here's the problem. So if you're 14 or 15, you have to have an adult literally next to you, within eyesight of you, in order to be riding a scooter. If you're between 16 and 18, you are allowed to ride by yourself, but you need to have a helmet on. The problem, unfortunately, and this is one of my biggest frustrations, is you see a scooter go by, I call the Port Clinton Police Department and say, hey, there's a scooter on such and such street, and by the time they get out there,
It's gone.
it's gone.
Right.
I mean, I've tried to even kind of, follow just to see where they go, because we do have a lot of near-miss accidents with these kids. Kids are not allowed to ride tandem on scooters. They are, I know. They're not allowed to, just ride in the road unless, they're following the requirements. So honestly, Mr. Trolley, if you see it, call the police department, and maybe they'll be able to catch it. It's very hard unless the officer is right there, and they have stopped.
Chief, come over and have coffee with me, and you can watch them like a picture window.
Is there anything about insurance? These kids are driving up and down the road
Yep.
like maniacs, and they don't have any insurance.
No, and under the Ohio Revised Code, they are not required to get insurance
Really?
for these scooters or the e-bikes, because they're not motor vehicles. But for the e-bikes also, there are very strict restrictions on that. The problem is parents are buying these for their kids, and even though the police department has stopped kids, brought them home, told the parents response is outrage. How dare you tell me I cannot let my child ride a scooter I just paid $200+ for, instead of saying, oh my gosh, my son or daughter could have been hit by a car. So unfortunately, there's a lot of resistance from the parents. There aren't warnings on these boxes. They don't tell you, like, you have to be sold to ride them, but, in the revised code, it states that there was a girl in Michigan who was killed. She and her friend were riding tandem, and they hit a bump, they hit something, but one flew off, and she died from that. And they're trying to pass legislation in different states, including Ohio. The problem is not necessarily the legislation, it's the enforcement and also the consequences, because there is no, there's really no penalty if you get stopped. So if a juvenile gets stopped, the recourse would be to take them to juvenile court. And there really is no, you're riding a electric scooter illegally. It's just they're saying you can't do it. And then the police looked at possibly filing charges against the parents for contributing to the delinquency of a child by letting them ride the scooter. But then the problem with that is a lot of parents turn around and say, well, I have no idea they did this, or, you know, I don't know anything. So they're still trying to work out the kinks, but I see near-miss accidents. I've seen kids blow through stop signs. They really need to be following the traffic laws if they're on the street. If they're on the sidewalk, it's not as bad because at least they're on the sidewalk.
Are they not allowed to ride them on sidewalks?
No, they
though?
can.
They can?
They
Okay,
can.
I didn't think they could. The
Only in
motorized
the
ones.
downtown area can you not do that. But on the side streets, sometimes it's safer just to be on the sidewalk because at least there's grass, you know, and there's no cars. But we're trying to enforce it. It's just a lot of, it's gotta catch it.
I do have a question because last night coming home, and there's a lot of kids in my neighborhood going to Richards and everywhere, and somebody pulled out in front of me wearing all black on one of those electric bikes. Didn't even look, and I was like, thank God it was me driving and not one of my children who had to slam on the brakes, because I would be mortified if I hit and killed a kid on a bike, right? The kids aren't looking. I've yelled at a lot of them, they don't look. So I started doing a lot of research, and right now, my Facebook is full of, you know, Tip City, Perrysburg, Huron, Norwalk, all the police departments, everybody posting information, and again, like, the kids aren't reading the information. And something came up with, you know, people getting, some of the areas are enforcing it in different ways, like can they get a reckless act charge if they're weaving in and out on the streets? There's, you know, can they charge the parents, all these things. And again, I know, because the parents are going to say, well, I didn't know they took the bike out alone. I didn't know they're not supposed to. We know kids are kids. But again, I've had multiple near misses because I live by the schools. And I do try to be very attentive. With motorcycles, it's look twice, save a life, and I do that consistently. But when these bikes are coming down my street at 20 miles an hour, trash cans are out, cars are parked. I'm just waiting for the day I back into a kid and kill them, and that would ruin their life, my life. I don't know how we address it. I know the parents are not going to take responsibility for the most part. They bought the bikes, grandparents did. And I don't know if there's anything we can do, you know, to put the fear of them, like, I mean, we were afraid growing up, if you go through their yard, like, Mr. So-and-so is going to get you if you go through their yard, like, don't do that.
You can say it, Mr. Sarah.
Yeah. You know, you know, get a couple kids, you know, have the police make a show and get them, you know, like, hey, don't be riding on by there, you know, pay attention. If they go past the alleys, you know, just the fear of words spreading, because kids are not going to look on these things and see. They don't care about the rules, right? They're out having fun, it's summer, you know, but that daylight hour, that golden hour when you can't see in the morning and at night you're blinded, I mean, I feel like I would be the first person to hit a kid, and I drive them both carefully, but
Is there anything
it's terrifying to me.
Because we can be more restrictive.
We can.
Until we like confiscate, like.
Well,
But I think enforcing it is still the issue. Yeah, this kid was gone.
Right.
The biggest threat, I think, to the child and to the parents is probably the
Come down
Yeah.
there. And some areas can pound the bikes
Um,
back to work.
And I've talked with the police chief about that, confiscate.
We
need like
charge
walking
parents.
out there,
What do we do? And we're still working on it. During the school year, this is kind of sad to say, but unfortunately, a lot of kids, that's their only way to school.
Right.
So,
But if they're following the traffic laws, the rules, like, you know,
Yeah.
stop at the alleys, and I know it's an education thing, because again, when I'm riding the bike, I don't know how stuff to get.
Right.
I'm gonna get
but, so unfortunately, you know, there has to be a little bit of consideration for that, but we are gonna try to find a way to enforce that without, you know, having a rap put down to the police department for confiscating someone's brand new scooter.
Right.
Because it will happen, the parents will, you know, not support that. But we are working on it, we are working on it. Also, same with that.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. It's disturbing with you talking, they're talking up here, so, thank you.
Just also, just with scooters, we have the golf carts around. You cannot, it is against the Ohio Revised Code, which we follow, to drive a golf cart in the city of Fort Clinton. Now, there's two different types of golf carts. One is a low-speed vehicle, and one is a underspeed vehicle. And there's different price points for the underspeed as opposed to the low speed. So if you have a low-speed vehicle, you got all of the bells and whistles, the safety requirements directly from the manufacturer. And you can go get a license plate for it, and it has a VIN number on it. Usually telltale signs that it's a low-speed vehicle is you have the full glass in the front, not half, not a portion of it, the full glass. You have the windshield wipers, you have the mirrors, you have the seat belts, but those are permitted in the city to be driven because low-speed vehicles under the revised code are permitted. Underspeed vehicles are your typical golf cart. Are your typical golf cart that you see like in a campground. You know, there's no mirrors, there's no windshield wipers, there's no safety glass, no seat belts, and the price points are a lot different because the low-speed vehicles are more expensive. If you see a low-speed or underspeed vehicle, golf cart, you know, best thing to do is call the police department. It's the same as the scooters. By the time, you know, you get there, they're gone. They're actually shockingly pretty fast when they're zooming in and out of the side streets. But especially on Perry, it's very dangerous. They're not allowed to be on there. So that's just another.
Thank you.
Close with that. No problem, Mr. Trolley.
Thank you.
Don't hit any kids.
Mr. Sass, Safety Service Director.
Thank you, good evening. I'll try to be brief. I was a little late getting there. I attended the swearing in of our newest fireman from Portland, so that was great to see and be part of it. Thank you to Bennett and Doug. Bennett, it's really neat that there's really somebody, there really is a person. We're on numerous teams meetings during the course of the month, and gosh, there really is somebody in flesh and blood that fits in there. So I too thank you for being here and what you're offering. Doug, you're incredible what you've done, and keep doing it. And we're very, very blessed to have these folks on board with us. Thank you to the county for the Family Advocacy Center and using this facility. I think it's a great idea to move the meetings around periodically. You may have noticed there's playground equipment that's been put in here at the West End Park. That's through a grant from the Health Department. It's on, let's see how it goes. It's school property. The grant was put together by the Health Department, and the city gets to maintain it. So there will be a porta-john moved in there Friday. The caveat with the porta-john is when it gets damaged, the city's on the hook for repairing it, and it goes back. Whether it's Saturday, whether it's 2 years from now, with the first bit of vandalism, out it goes. It's gone. So you can pass the word, you Facebook folks, pass the word on that if you would. I'd appreciate that. The revetment's finished. It's all done, and it makes for a great addition to the lakefront. The street sweeper should be back within, hopefully in 2 weeks, and it will be put to use. The bathrooms at the lighthouse were a total disaster, I was told this past weekend. And that's very, very disturbing, it's very disgusting. You know, I know in the past, I think those doors have been locked, and I know that creates an uproar, but it really puts a burden on our street guys that have to keep clean that mess up, and it's totally ridiculous and uncalled for. And I don't know what the solution to it is, but it's very disappointing that it is that way. The sidewalks, south side of 11th Street, we've had conversations with a couple of property owners that had some impediments in the right-of-way. Those have been agreed to be removed. And right now we have a work order in with Edison to move a couple guy wires. At that point, it should be starting towards the late summer, August to September, somewhere at that point, as far as those sidewalks on 11th Street. And that's all I have. Anybody have any questions for me?
Anyone on council have any questions for Mr. Sass?
Mr. Sass, I appreciate there'll be a porta-john because this is a pavilion here that doesn't have any bathroom facilities, no drinking water, nothing you can access here. So I appreciate that, and I'll spread the word about that, and your vandalism or damage. And same thing with the city. I mean, I don't know if we come in harsh with those bathrooms. We've gone through so much with them, like, we're gonna lock them if we can't keep them, you know. Those are very expensive bathrooms they put up there, and what people do to them continuously. It's disappointing to say the least.
And if I could, it's obviously intentional. The issues, the biggest issue is someone stuffing paper towels down the commodes. There are no paper towels
Yeah.
in the building. They have to bring them in.
Yeah, you've mentioned that.
In
before,
quantities
so
sufficient to
I don't
qualify.
understand it, I just don't understand it. But thank you for that and for the improvements and all that.
Ma'am?
I agree with you. I know somebody, I knew somebody that used to work for the city, and the bathrooms would be horrendous.
Excuse me?
The bathrooms would be horrendous. If I talk too loud, she gets mad, so
No, that's
you're doing fine. But if you contact, I still call it the MRDD, because I know.
Board of DD. Board of DD.
Okay. They sometimes work out at the state park cleaning the restrooms. That might be somebody that you could contact for the summer months, for somebody that looking
Well,
to pick
it's
up
not cleaning
hours.
them, you gotta put somebody in there 24 hours a day. It's not cleaning, our city guys clean them. But it's
Yeah,
during
no,
the
I
day
get
when
it,
you're,
but I thought you needed some more help, contact them. You know,
we could do that.
yeah, I'm just giving you an
Sure.
idea. And about the porta pot, other than putting cameras up, and just like the ones, the playground at Lakeview Park, people were talking about, older kids getting on there and doing damage. Pop up some things and catch them on camera and get them. The e-bikes, that's what I was talking to him about, ma'am. And I think that I think an ordinance should be passed, that the parents should be responsible.
You're gonna legislate common sense.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Okay,
Well, I think
thank you, we need to move on, thank you. Move on to city staff report, Chief Scott, do you have anything to add?
I have nothing to add, Madam President.
We'll move on to committee reports. Safety services and public works, Mr. Trolley.
We'll be holding a meeting at Fire Department Monday at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Economic and Community Development, Ms. Newman.
We're working on getting a meeting together hopefully next week.
Okay, thank you. Under correspondence this evening, we have Portland Architecture Review Board, May 14, 2026 meeting minutes, Planning Commission, Board of Zoning Appeals, April 23, 2026 meeting minutes, and the May 2026 financial report provided by the appeal auditor.
Madam President, I move we accept the May 2026 financial report provided by Below Auditor.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Trolley. Okay, I have a motion by Mrs. Gilman, seconded by Mr. Trolley to accept the May 2026 financial report. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Thank you. It's accepted. Does council wish to take any further action as to the correspondence?
Madam President,
Ms. Gilman.
I move we accept the correspondence as presented.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Trolley. I have a motion by Mrs. Gilman, seconded by Mr. Trolley to accept the correspondence as stated. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Thank you. That's correspondence hereby accepted. We'll move on to readings of ordinances and resolution. We have nothing under third reading. Under second readings, would the clerk please read by title and summary only ordinance 18-26.
Ordinance number 18-26, an ordinance to approve March 2026 replacement pages to the Portland codified ordinances and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 18-26? Seeing none, ordinance 18-26, we move to the next regular scheduled council meeting on June 13, 2026. 23rd. Oh, the 23rd, I'm sorry. June 23rd, 2026. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only ordinance 19-26?
Ordinance number 19-26, an ordinance amending ordinance number 10-26 of the city of Portland.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 19-26? Seeing none, ordinance 19-26 will move to its third reading on June 23rd, 2026. Did I say third reading on 18-26? Okay, thank you. Move on to the first readings. Would the clerk please read by title and summary only ordinance 2026?
Ordinance number 2026, an ordinance authorizing and directing the Director of Safety and Service to prepare and submit applications as may be required for planning, design, or construction of the no feasible alternative NFA study and/or resulting improvements to the Ohio Water Development Authority, OWD
OWDA, Ohio Environmental Protection Agency, OEPA, Ohio Department of Development, ODOD, Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Water Pollution Control Loan Fund, WPCLF, Ohio Public Works Commission, OPWC, and any other funding sources or programs that become available, and to execute application documents for the funding sources as required to execute contracts for planning, design, and construction phases, and declare an emergency.
Okay, before council takes any action on this, this is the time-sensitive one, and Mr. Newsom, do you want to explain a little bit about that?
Certainly. As you may recall, you did pass an ordinance to hire a consultant for this NFA study several months ago. At that time, the consultant was also supposed to file an application for planning design or planning loan for the project. They started it, and then for whatever reason it fell off their radar. It fell off my radar. And what this is going to do, it'll pay for the study cost plus the purchase of a new sewer truck for the city. I can't tell you exactly how old the current sewer truck is, but I know it has become more prone to repair in the last couple of years. It's also a bit undersized for the task that they're using it for now, other than just cleaning sewers. That truck was, in order to hold 2025 pricing on it, that truck was authorized to be fabricated with a letter of intent to purchase from the city. They originally said that the truck would be August or September of this year before it was ready, and lo and behold, something did get done earlier for the city, and it was ready to be delivered about the middle of May. So the consultants now scrambling to get that application in, and this ordinance is intended to authorize the city to file that application, and then for the safety service director to purchase any equipment or enter into contract and agreements for those funding sources listed here.
Madam President,
Yes, Mr. Choi.
to make a motion to waive 3 required readings for ordinance 2026.
Thank you, do I have a second? A second. Thank you, Mrs. Miller. Any further discussion? Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Trolley, second by Mrs. Gilman, to waive the 3 required readings as to ordinance 20-26. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Kathy King?
Yes.
Richard Morgan?
Yeah.
Carmen Dapp?
Yes.
Avery Robinson? Beth Gelman?
Yes.
Jerry Trolley?
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries by a vote of 6-0. Does council wish to take any further action as to ordinance 20-26?
Madam President,
Mr. Trolley?
make a motion that we retain the emergency clause of ordinance 20-26.
Thank you, do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mrs. Any discussion? I have a motion by Mr. Trolley, second by Mrs. Gilman, to maintain the emergency clause as to ordinance 20-26. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Carmen Dapp?
Yes.
Avery Robinson?
Yes.
Richard Morgan?
Yeah.
Beth Gelman?
Yes.
Jerry Trolley?
Yes.
Kathy King?
Yes. Thank you, motion carries by a vote of 6-0. Does council wish, the emergency clause is hereby retained. Does council wish to take any further action as to ordinance 20-26?
Madam President,
Mr. Trolley?
make a motion that we adopt ordinance 20-26.
Thank you, do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mrs. Any discussion?
Yeah. Mr. Newsom, I know you explained this. Sure. I still don't know what I'm voting on here. I'm sorry. I've read this 3 times and I've listened to you, and what am I doing here? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's an ordinance that authorizes the city to apply for funding sources for the NFA study, the sewer cleaning truck, and any projects that could result from those.
Okay, so this is not for us to pay for it, to apply for the funding sources for those things.
That's correct.
Okay, all right, that makes more sense. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions by anyone on council? Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Trolley, seconded by Mrs. Gilman, to adopt ordinance 20-26. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Kathy King?
Yes.
Carmen Dapp?
Yes.
Avery Robinson?
Yes.
Beth Gelman?
Yes.
Jerry Trolley?
Yes.
Richard Morgan?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries by a vote of 6-0. Ordinance 20-26 is hereby adopted. Will the clerk please read by title and summary only ordinance 21-26?
Ordinance number 21-26, an ordinance authorizing and directing the Director of Safety and Service to advertise for proposals and enter into a contract for downtown streetscape tree canopy improvement services, fully funded through the City of Portland Urban and Community Forestry Inflation Reduction Act grant award, with no cost to be borne by the city and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 21-26? Seeing none, ordinance 21-26 will be moved to its second reading at the next regularly scheduled council meeting on June 23rd, 2026. Will the clerk please read by title and summary only? Ordinance 22-26.
Ordinance number 22-26, an ordinance providing for the issuance and sale of notes in one or more series in the maximum aggregate principal amount of $1,080,000.
$1,080,000.
$80,000, thank you, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds for the purpose of paying costs of acquiring, reconstructing, renovating, constructing, equipping, furnishing, and otherwise improving certain facilities for the use as a city hall and other purposes, together with all necessary appurtenances thereto, and declaring an emergency. Thank you.
Thank you. Does council wish to take any action as to ordinance 22-26? Seeing none, ordinance 22-26 will be moved to its second reading at the next regularly scheduled council meeting on June 23rd, 2026. Move on to business from the floor. Mr. Morgan.
This is a real business, I'm going to say it anyway. On Saturday, there's a really good band playing downtown on the stage, 8 to 11. And if you look hard, I am in that band. I'm in the back left corner, exactly where I like to be. So